Hi there, welcome to live stream Yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we're going to be unpacking that spare tire, that excess baggage from around the waist area, tightening and toning core and abs. Towards that end, we're going to be playing with short bursts of repetitive movement. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up today, standing more or less in the middle of the mat. Find a comfortable parallel stance with your feet, maybe just a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. Stand up nice and tall, rooting through the feet. Start to tuck the tailbone under, pull the belly button in, start to feel a little stretch in the belly area. Relax the arms at your side. Let's play left first. You're going to drop the left arm down towards the floor and come back to start. We're going to do that 10 times. One more on this side. Let's change sides. Use your breath. One more on this side. Let's come back to side one. We're going to do a drop and a reach to shoulder height. 10 of those. Last one on this side, we're going to change sides. Drop and reach on side two. Reaching along through your fingertips, trying to get a nice little bit of strength, stretch, lengthening and toning in the opposite side of the body. Let's do two more on this side. Then start with both arms alongside your body. You're going to float them up to shoulder height and back down. So think of it as half an angel wing. You're going to end with the arms at shoulder height. You're going to give me half a helicopter spin to one side, back to the middle, and take it to the other side. Bending and pivoting on the back leg every time you twist. Keeping those arms floating nice and high. One more to each side, then we'll come into some chairs and we'll add a little knee lift. Bring your legs in so that they're at least just inside of hip width distance apart. You can work with a narrower stance if you like, with the legs clipped together along the midline of the body. You're going to sit back into a chair, floating the arms out in front. Then as you stand up nice and tall, you're going to draw one knee in towards your nose, and we're going to alternate sides. A chair and a knee lift. Your feet are either flush along the midline of the body, or you can open them up and give them a little bit of distance between the 2 feet. Exhale as you sit down. Inhale as you stand up. Two more sets to go. And then we'll bring it down onto the haunches from here and we'll play with a haunch knee lift. So once you've completed your last set, you're going to end in the chair. You're going to place your fingertips on the mat. You're going to start in a soft haunch line with your heels just gently curling off the floor. Then squeeze the knees together and up towards your nose, coming right onto the tips of your toes using your core, and then relax back down. So it's a knee draw initiated from the core and then relax back. 10 times you're going to draw those knees up and then relax them back down. Keeping your fingertips just softly connected to the mat. And then from here, we're going to change our orientation on the mat. You're going to find your way into a seated staff pose on the mat. Legs nice and long and lengthened in front of you. Maybe opening up your legs so that you've got maybe a foot space between the 2 feet. You're going to bend your elbows, place your fingertips on your shoulders, maybe thumb hooking around the back and the other fingers curling around the front. You're going to keep those elbows nice and high. We're going to do a twist to the left and back, trying to keep those elbows at shoulder height. Let's shoot for 10 to the left. Keep your feet active. Keep your trunk stacked. Come back to the midline. Give me Jupiter Mudra, interlacing your fingers, bringing the index fingers together, crossing the thumbs. Keeping your arms at shoulder height, you're going to seesaw forward and back, keeping a long line through the trunk. Let's shoot for 10. Come back to your nice tall seat. Place your hands on your shoulders, elbows nice and wide. We're going to twist right only. Keep your feet active. Keep your trunk high. Come back to center, extend those arms into Jupiter. You're going to seesaw forward, seesaw back, keeping a long line through the trunk. Let's shoot for 10. From staff pose, you're going to relax your hands to the mat and you're going to bring it down onto the elbows behind you without collapsing the back of your ribs or your chest to the floor. So you're keeping your chest floating up nice and high. You're going to keep the feet softly clipped together along the midline of the body, and we're going to do a single leg lift and lower on the right, trying to hover the foot just off the mat. If you need to support your lower back, bend your support leg. We're going to shoot for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's change sides. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. We're going to double up, moving both legs in unison. Small little lift and lower. You're going to end in the lift. You're going to come into a U hold from here, falling onto the lower and the mid back, giving me a hollow frame with your body, active feet. You're going to hold for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Relax your body down to the mat. Bend your knees, connect the soles of the feet to the mat, almost as if you were setting yourself up for a bridge line, and float the hands overhead to the mat behind you. Start in neutral spine. Take a big breath in to prepare. On the exhale, you're going to tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock. You're going to draw your knees up to table. You're going to scoop to peel your head, your arms off the mat. You're going to hover your arms alongside your hips. And then feet and arms draw back to their start position. We're going to aim for 10 little of those tuck-like movements. Not a sound as your hands and your feet come back to the mat. Last one. You're going to end with the hands overhead on the mat behind you, and you're going to try to keep them there as we bleed up into a bridge line from here. Feet and knees stay hip width distance apart, spine in neutral. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock, imprint your lower and your mid back. Keep curling your tailbone in. Keep the core contracted as you start to lift your bottom and your whole back line off the mat. Floating up nice and high into the bridge line. Pause. Then leading with the back of your ribs, bleed back down. At the same time, bring the arms down with you so that you end with your arms and your back connected to the mat simultaneously. One more bridge line from here, this time bringing the arms with us. Tilt your pelvis to 12 o'clock. Start to slowly float the arms up in unison with your back line as you disconnect from the mat. Ending nice and high in the bridge with the arms softly floated overhead, back of the hands connected to the mat, and your chin tucked right up against your chest. Keep your arms where they are and slowly float your back line down onto the mat. Come right onto the tips of both toes and slowly, slowly start to push the legs away, bracing into your feet as you extend on the mat and get a nice little stretch into the belly area. Then keeping your feet braced, we're going to draw the legs to 90 on an exhale. We're going to tilt the pelvis to 12 o'clock. You're going to scoop to peel your head and your shoulders. So this time you're working with an extended leg line, and then no sound as you come back to the mat, trying to hover your arms and your legs just off the mat if you can. Exhale to scoop and peel up. Inhale to hover just off the mat. End with the legs at the 90 position. Keep your legs where they are. Float your arms, your head, your chest back down to the mat. And then maybe open up the arms into T, palms looking down into the mat. Let's bend the knees into table. We're going to work some tick-tock progressions to come down into a supine twist. Take a big breath in to prepare. On the exhale, drop both knees just off-center to the left while you look to the right. Pause there. Start to feel that work through the obliques and the trunk. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to drop and hold on the right. You're going to give me 4 more slow iterations, each time bringing your knees closer to the floor, but pause and hold before you take it through the next iteration. So this time, next time you come back to side 1, dropping a little bit closer to the floor, pausing, holding, looking for that work and that control through the core and the belly. Inhale to bring it back. Exhale. Take it to side 2. Every time trying to keep yourself anchored on the opposite side of the body. Always moving with your breath. So nice big inhale as you come to the center, and a nice long lazy exhale as you drop off the center line. Keeping the feet and the knees softly clipped together along the midline of the body. On your 5th iteration, you're going to drop, hold, and wait with both knees as close to the floor as you can. Stay here or maybe extend the legs, push them away from you. And bend the knees, come back to center, and start all over again, this time beginning your first small drop off center to the right. Pause. Inhale, come back. Take it to the left. Exhale to drop a little bit closer on your 2nd iteration. Inhale to bring it back. Find your rhythm. Make sure you're working with control, using your core, using those abs, supported of course by the back chain. Knees falling in one direction, your head floating in the opposite direction, making sure that you're keeping that opposite shoulder firmly grounded into the mat. That's your control, your counterweight. On your 5th iteration, to side 1, you're going to drop and hold. Maybe staying with a bent leg line, or maybe looking for an opportunity to extend the legs away from you, giving a little kick. Then find your way back to the center line. And coming into some rolls, maybe holding around the shins or maybe behind the thighs. You're going to rock up and down. Maybe you want to stay with the rock, or maybe you want to start playing with the soft little forward fold, keeping as much bend in the knees as you need to, and then almost a plow-like roll, starting to bring the legs overhead, controlling through the core the whole time as you roll back and forth. Maybe even giving me a soft little forward fold and looking for some extension. Maybe starting to extend the legs and plow as you roll overhead. And you could take it into a shoulder stand if you like the next time you're coming to plow, maybe using the core to draw the legs softly up towards the ceiling. You're coming out of the shoulder stand. Think of gently tucking your knees in towards your nose, using the core to control. Then relax your hands to the mat. Come down as slowly as you can before you rock up and take it into another forward fold. From here, we're going to change our orientation on the mat, and we're going to find our way into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Sweeping the legs underneath you to find your 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Tuck your toes under. We're going to exhale for down dog. Inhale for a floating knee line off the mat, giving me maybe about 10 oscillations between the down dog and the controlled knee hover off the floor. Using your core to control those legs. Exhale every time you hit the down dog frame. Inhale as you hover those knees in table. End in your knee hover for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Relax your knees to the floor. You can keep the toes tucked under. You're going to come into a high kneeling frame and we're going to work a modified camel lean. For today's camel lean, you're going to open up the arms into a little cactus frame and you're going to start your movement with the elbows tapped together along the midline of the body. You're going to lean off the center line, opening into cactus. You're going to exhale to come back to start and squeeze. Let's do 10. Last one. We're going to find our way from here back into 4-point kneeling and we're going to work a modified chaturanga to come down onto the belly. We're going to give ourselves at least 5 repetitions. You can either keep both feet on the floor or you can float both feet off the floor today. You're going to keep a nice long line through the spine. You're going to keep that belly button pulled into center as you play. You're going to bend your elbows, but don't chicken wing them. Try to hug them in towards your ribs as you come down as low with your chest and your head to the floor as you can. And then push back up to your start position, giving yourself at least 5 repetitions. Strong through the core, so keep belly to spine. And maybe you're only going halfway down and back to start, but wherever you're playing, keep a long neckline and keep your belly button pulled into center. And try to hover off the mat and hold for 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Relax your body down to the mat, drawing your hands back so that they're just towards the lower end of your rib cage. We're coming into a swan articulation and we're going to try to not only look for as much work through the spine as we can, but we're going to look for that delicious stretch through the belly area at the same time. Relax your forehead to the mat. Keep your elbows squeezed into center as you play. Legs are relaxed and parallel behind you. Find that imaginary marble underneath your nose. Start to roll the marble away from you to the front of the mat. Peel up slowly, stopping with your bottom 3 ribs heavy into the mat. Pause here, looking for length through the elbow points. Then bleed up a little bit higher, so just the bottom rib is connected. Look for more extension through the arms. Come to rest on your belly button. And your 2 hip points, your pubic bone, the top of your thighs. Push all the way up, resting on your kneecaps with the heels of your hands resting underneath your armpits. Look for that length, that swan-like length through the neck, but also look for that delicious stretch through the belly area. Come down just as slowly and with just as much control. Bend slowly through the arms. Tap the top of your thighs. Then your pubic bone, your 2 hip points, your belly button, your bottom rib, your bottom 3 ribs, the rest of your ribs and your chest and your head. As soon as your forehead connects to the floor, give me a double leg lift and pause. Reaching long through your toes, pressing your lower belly and your 2 hip points into the mat. Then start to work a rocking swan by relaxing your feet to the mat, pushing all the way up into the full expression of swan, then bending the elbows, coming down and lifting the legs. You're going to start rapid fire pistoning and rocking the body up and down for maybe 10 rounds. Last one. We're going to push back into child. Arms long and extended. Take a little stretch here. If you need to, relax your elbows, forearms, and wrists to the mat if you feel any tension in the lower arm area. From here, we're going to find our way into a working down dog and up dog flow. Ease your way into 4-point kneeling. When you're ready, you're going to think down dog. So you're going to tuck your toes under. You're going to float your bum up to the sky. When you're ready, think plank. Then start to bring your hips through the plank line with control. Lots of control through the lower belly. And then back to your down dog. You're going to start moving dynamically between up dog and your down dog, looking for that control through the core. If you find that this is too much work for you, you can revert to the down dog and the knee tap hover that we played with early on. Use your breath. Exhale for down dog. Inhale for up dog. You're going to end in the down dog frame pause. And then think about using your core to give me a little hop up to the top end of the mat. And we're going to come straight into crow. So you're going to give me a hop up, but you're going to take a froggy hop up. And you're going to take your knees out to the side of the room. Coming onto a haunch line with the heels together and the toes looking out to the side of the room. So you're in almost a diamond frame setup with your hands connected to the mat in front of you. We're going to come straight into crow. You're going to place your hands palms down on the mat. You're going to control from the core as you give me a little bend in the elbows, leaning the weight forward into your tricep. Either stay here, using your core to hold your mini balance, or you're going to lift one foot and maybe the second foot off the mat, coming into full crow, bakasana, trying to rest the weight of your knees and your triceps, using your core to hold the balance. Trying to hold for maybe 10 to 20 seconds. Feet either off the floor or toes still softly connected with a lot of core control. Then relax your feet to the mat. Bring them maybe into a gentle parallel line. And you're going to bleed up really slowly into a tabletop line. Weight placement equal on both feet, so not leaning all the way back or all the way forward, trying to find that halfway point with the arms long and reaching in front of you. We're going to find a warrior 3, floating the left leg behind us, trying to stay nice and stable through the shoulders and the hips. So use your core to control the warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Then bend the lead leg, angle in the back foot to 45, and find your way up into a warrior 1 line. Maybe surreptitiously sliding that front foot forward into your warrior 1. Getting a nice little stretch into the lower belly area. And then in one sweeping motion, you're going to hinge forward, placing both hands on the mat in front of you. You're going to bend the back leg, tap the back knee to the back calf, and then come into a standing split. And you're going to do that dynamically a few times, tapping knee to calf, and then extending the leg behind you. Keeping belly to spine the whole time, so your core's working. You're going to enter the knee to calf position, placing both hands on the mat. You're going to step or hop one or both legs back to come straight into a plank. You're going to hold steady, nice and strong through the core. And then you're going to start playing with some revolving side planks, knife edging your feet, opening up to the side of the room, and then rolling right through to the other side. Trying to keep your hips nice and high, so not collapsing through the plank line. Strong core, so belly to spine. You're going to find your way back into plank. You're going to give me a froggy hop up to come back into crow. So when you're ready, hop up. Find your turnout position on the legs. Make sure the hands are on the floor. Pull up. So pubic bone to navel. You're going to zipper up as you lean forward into the triceps. Stay here with both big toes connected to the mat and your core zippered up. We'll begin to bleed one foot off the floor. Then maybe try for the second foot. See if you can tap the two toes behind you, almost in a wide, childlike expression, with your knees connected to the triceps, trying to hold Bakasana for a few quiet moments, so lots of control through the core. And relax your feet to parallel. Control through the core as you begin to ragdoll up. Extend your leg line, zipper up, float the arms out overhead as you come into a table hold. So long stretch from the tailbone towards the nape of your neck. Core totally zippered up and engaged. Try to hold this length through the arms and the spine as you find your warrior three on the second side. So this time the right leg floating behind you. Pause here. Maybe playing with a soft toe line. Then bend the lead leg, take a step back on the back leg, angle in the back foot to 45 and settle into your warrior one expression. Hands floating overhead, fingertips reaching for the sky, delicious stretch into the lower belly area. Virabhadrasana 1. Then starts to hinge forward. Place both hands on the mat in front of you. You're going to bend the back leg, think knee to calf, and kick into the standing split. Keep belly to spine the whole time as you keep playing with that repetitive movement, bending both knees simultaneously and tucking the back knee to the front calf. End in the knee to calf position. Place both hands on the mat. Step back one leg at a time, or maybe you're shooting both legs simultaneously to come into your plank line. And when you're ready, you're going to begin starting to play with your revolving side plank. Knife edging onto one side, opening up one arm to the sky, making a beautiful T-like frame without dropping your hips, so hips stay up nice and high. We're going to find our way back to plank. Ease our way into one more crow line before we find a seat. So you're going to hop or step up. Thinking little froggy-like stance, a nice little froggy hop up. All right, zipper up. Pubis to navel. You're going to lean forward. You're going to find your tricep lean holding or coming into your full expression of crow. And from here, you're going to find your way into a seat, maybe floating the hands to the mat behind you. Let's extend the right leg and let's bend the left. Let's take the tuck to the back. So you're trying to tuck heel to bum. Maybe you've got a small V between the two knees, or maybe your range of motion is wider and you're shooting for more of an L-like frame. Make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall and try to have both bum bones as equally weighted into the mat as you can. You're going to give me a little rotation through the trunk to look towards your right toes, which are looking right up towards the sky. And you're going to give me a soft little forward fold. Maybe that's just fingertips to floor, or maybe fingertips to thigh. Maybe you're using a strap to connect to the undercarriage of your foot, or maybe you can reach with one or with both hands. You're going to keep that slight rotation through the trunk as you fold forward and hold Paringasana, a nice low gate today. Just breathe nice and deeply into the back and the sides of your ribs as you hold your gate line. Then look for more work through the trunk as you start to drop the right elbow either to the floor, or maybe you're using a block or a pillow underneath, and you're going to open up the top arm, maybe giving me a full 360-degree rotation, or you can stop anywhere along this journey and just hold the arm if you prefer. If you can do the full 360, see if you can reach for maybe the pinky toe, and then look for even more work through the trunk as you look around your armpit to peek up towards the ceiling. Then maybe taking the top arm, tucking it behind you, maybe bringing it behind you so that your fingertips are reaching for that thigh and just holding here. Or you could even play with the setup of the bottom arm, maybe tucking it underneath your legs to reach for the heel of the back leg. You could even play with an overhead arm on the top and play with it. See what you can do with your gate, Paringasana. Then maybe gently unbind. We're going to find our way into an inverted plank line in 10 Cs. Purvottanasana. All right, so sitting up nice and tall, feet flush along the midline if you can. You're going to relax the arms at your side, fingertips forward, side, back, or fisted. You're going to draw your hands behind you, maybe stopping just underneath your armpit line. You're going to relax your toes to the mat and you're going to pike up either feet in parallel, or you can open them up into a little Pilates V. Pause here maybe for a soft count of 10, looking for that delicious stretch into the top of your belly. Then relax softly back down to the mat and find your gate line on side 2. So bending the right leg this time, either small V between the 2 knees, or maybe a bit of a wider range of motion. You're going to twist that trunk so that you're looking towards your left toes, which are looking up to the sky, and you're going to fold forward. Maybe hands to floor or leg, or maybe reaching with one or with both hands for the undercarriage of your foot, or use your strap as a prop. Just fold forward, try to keep that slight rotation through the trunk. Give me a few gentle breaths here, breathing nice and deeply into the back and the sides of your ribs. And then start to look for more rotational work through the trunk, maybe dropping the left elbow to the floor, maybe pushing with the back of your hand, or maybe you'd like to keep a big toe lock. You're going to give me a almost bowling-like action on the top arm, and you can stop anywhere along this journey. Maybe you're just pausing here and holding, or maybe you're looking for that pinky toe connection, looking around your armpit of the sky, looking for that bit of twist and work through the trunk. Then maybe reversing the pattern of the top arm, tucking it behind your back, maybe reaching with your fingertips for the inner thigh on that lead leg. And maybe you want to tuck the bottom arm underneath your feet. Maybe you want to keep this bind, or maybe you want to reach for your pinky toe again. Just looking for a nice bit of twist and stretch in the trunk. Then unwrap your gate line, find your way back into your inverted plank line one last time before we come into the supine position. So feet flush along the midline, find the hand position that works for you. You're going to draw your hands back, you're going to relax your feet to the mat, you're going to float your belly up to the sky, and you're going to hold. Chin softly relaxed down, almost as if you had a grapefruit tucked underneath your chin. And then as you connect your bottom to the mat, you're going to find your way into Shavasana. So maybe just gently Finding your way onto the elbows, then onto the back. Arms are relaxed at your side, softly splayed out. Feet are splayed out as well, looking to the corners of your mat. Tuck the shoulder blades beneath you and just settle the whole weight of your body into the mat. Close your eyes. Take your focus inward and focus on your belly button line, your core, your center. That was working quite hard today to control all of your movements. So think of that midway line of your body, more or less in line with your belly button. You're going to try to soften your whole body from that line, from your belly button line, all the way down through your pelvis, your bottom, the tops of your thighs, through the knees, the shin line, the ankle line, all the way to the tips of each toe. Totally soft and relaxed from belly to toes. Keep thinking of that wave of softness extending belly to toe. Then draw your attention back to that belly line. And in a wave-like motion, start to soften from the belly line all the way through the chest, your upper back, your shoulders, your collar line, down through the whole line of the arms to your fingers. Think of that recurring soft wave, belly to fingers, belly to fingers, belly to fingers. Then draw your attention back to the navel and think of a soft wave extending belly all the way through the neckline, through the crown of your head. So now your soft wave is working belly to crown, belly to crown, belly to crown. Now bring your attention to your belly center one last time. Think of your belly button as being a little sun, radiating its energy out from your belly to each toe, from your belly to each finger, each set of fingertips, from your belly to your crown. So simultaneously radiating out in 5 directions, softening belly to each outer recess line of your body. Keep your breathing long, soft and relaxed. Soft from your navel to your extremities. And that's where you're going to end your practice today. Blissed out on the mat, belly to extremities. You can just end off your practice for today on the words Shanti, peace within. And then when you're ready to come off the mat, maybe just bending your knees, maybe just gently grounding your feet, maybe softly rolling over, pausing on one side before you try to come to a seated or a standing frame on your mat. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. Do hope you enjoyed. Till next time, keep it light.